There is a jungle that is present in the middle of the rivers, and after going there, no one knows when and where to time travel from there. Now a man suddenly finds that place, and from there he tries to go to the past, and somehow save his mother's life because somewhere he remembered his mother a lot. Now whether that man will be able to do this or not, you will get to know all that in the story. At the beginning of the story, we can see a car drowning in water, in which a man named Paris was sitting and his mother was also sitting next to him, whose ears were bleeding. At that time, Paris somehow gets out of that car, but he could not get his mother out of the car, because of which Paris was saved, but his mother died in the same accident. Now this incident takes a lot of time, but still Paris kept remembering his mother, so when he goes to work with his partner, he still feels very strange. Actually, they used to live in a place called Kadalik, which was a little far from the city and was surrounded by water, so they had to take the support of their boat to travel around. Well, at this time, Paris was remembering the same incident while looking at the bridge in front of him, during which he had given his mother, and after remembering that incident, he becomes very emotional. Well, after finishing his work for now, Paris goes to his house. On the other side, we can see a girl named Ellie, who had come to pick up her younger sister Anna at a place, and after picking up the luggage from there, she also goes to her boat, and sits and goes straight to her house. Now when they reach their house, there we can see their parents Daniel and Kalishti, and then we can know from Ellie's words that Ellie is actually Kalishti's daughter and Daniel's daughter is actually Anna. This meant that Kalishti and her partner Daniel had remarried, and because of this, Ellie did not accept Daniel as her father, because of which Kalishti was also very angry with him, because she knew that Daniel is somewhere much better than Ellie's real father. But Ellie did not want Daniel's name to be attached to her name at the time of her graduation, so she starts looking for her real father's documents, so that when she goes out of this place to graduate, her real father's surname is attached to her documents at that time. But when Kalishti finds out about this, she first comes to Ellie with love and tries to explain to her that she will have to see Daniel as her father, but Ellie does not listen to her. When Ellie comes in a lot of anger and starts looking for her father's death certificate in the room above, and at the same time we can see Anna, who had a pendant in her neck, and she was trying to show it to Ellie at that time, but Ellie does not listen to her, and she keeps looking for the document. At the same time, Kalishti comes to his room and scolds him very badly, because of which Ellie was very angry, and she goes out and leaves from there while sitting in her boat. With which the scene now comes to Paris from there, because he had come to a doctor to know about his mother's condition, and then we get to know that during that time when his mother had an accident, his mother was suddenly having seizures and blood was also coming out of her ears. And the same thing used to happen to Paris' mother at her house, but Paris did not know about her real illness. At that time, he did not tell much about his mother to Dr. Paris, because he wanted Paris to make an appointment with him first, and then come and meet him. Because of this, Paris has to return to his house again even though he does not want to. After returning home, his girlfriend C was standing outside his house, which she had been waiting for a long time. Well, then we get to know from their conversation that there was a fight going on between them for a long time and they were not talking to each other. Because of which C had decided that now he will end this relationship here, and he will leave from here. And at that time, Paris stops the fight because he had already lost his mother, and now he did not want to lose his girlfriend. Because of this, he goes to his house with C and they both start talking to each other there. They both came very close to each other while talking, and later Paris tells C that he still misses his mother a lot. With this, the scene comes back to Ollie from there, who had come a long way from her house with her boat. Now all of a sudden she starts hearing the sound of wolves around her, which Ollie was very shocked after hearing. And because of this, she goes straight to her friend's house. But when Ollie goes to her friend and tells her about the sound of those wolves, then her friend does not believe it at all. And then we get to know from their conversation that in the timeline in which they are in, the wolves had been extinct 50 to 60 years ago. But for now, they both do not pay much attention to this and go to sleep. After that, when Ollie wakes up the next morning, he had a message from Calisthenics, after reading which Ollie finds out that Anna is missing from his house and she has not come home for a long time. Undoubtedly, Ollie did not have much concern for anyone else in her house, but she still loved Anna a lot despite being a stepsister somewhere. And that's why as soon as she finds out that Anna is missing from her house, she immediately takes her boat and reaches her house. And then we get to know from the words of Calisthenics that when Ollie sat in her boat after fighting with her, then Anna also followed her because often she used to do this. But because Ollie had not paid attention to Anna in anger, so she had no idea about this. And because Anna was missing at the time, Ollie herself gets very upset, and immediately comes there, and snatches the key to her boat in anger. But when he comes to the parking area and checks Ollie's boat, there was no Ollie's boat at that place, after seeing which both Daniel and Ollie fly away and neither of them understand where their boat went. With which the scene comes from there to Paris, which had come to a place in the middle of the jungle with his friend, and after coming there, when he moves a little further, his hand starts shivering and blood comes out of his ears. Now this thing was very strange because the same thing used to happen with Paris's mother. Well, then suddenly his friend tells Paris that something is stuck under his boat, and during that time when Paris takes it out, he finds a locket there, and it was the same locket as Anna had. But after seeing that locket, Paris was very shocked. Then he keeps that locket in his pocket, and after reaching his house quickly, he checks his luggage, where the same locket was kept as he had just met Paris a while ago. And then we get to know that it was actually the locket of Paris's mother. Then suddenly Paris's father comes from behind and asks him about coming back from his work suddenly. But Paris does not answer him correctly and leaves from there. With this, the scene comes to Ollie from there, to whose house a lot of policemen had come, and they had started a search operation for Anna. But despite looking for every place, they do not find anything other than Anna's boat. It was clear that when Ollie took his boat and left from there, at that time Anna was also trying to take his boat and go behind him. But it was possible that something had happened to him on the way, and that is why Anna disappeared. And at this time it was quite late at night, and the police could not find Anna in such darkness. That's why they decide to find Anna the next day. Because of which Ollie was very worried, and still he could not understand where Anna would have gone. On the other hand, we can see Paris, who takes C and goes back to the place where he got Anna's locket. After going to that place, he tells C that he had just got the same locket at the same place as his mother had, but C does not believe him. Well, CSL wanted Paris to move on from his mother's incident, and move on in her life, and that's why she takes him to her house for now. On the other hand, we get to see Calisty again, who was angry with Ollie because Anna was lost somewhere because of Ollie. Now the next morning we see that a lot of police officers get together, and start looking for Anna, with whom the scene comes back to Paris from there, who was still thinking about his mother. And then suddenly he remembers something and he goes to his garage and takes out some documents. Those documents were actually the water level reports of Caddo Lake and the reports of Paris's mother. After matching them together, there is a lot of shock there because whenever his mother's blood level had fallen, at the same time Caddo Lake's water level had also fallen. Now if this is explained in plain words, then whenever Caddo Lake's water level had fallen, at the same time Paris's mother was also ill. After knowing this, Paris was very shocked, but at that time she starts trying to explain to him that there is no connection between his mother's health and the water level of Caddo Lake. But Paris thought that his mother's health and the water level there must have something to do with each other, so he picks up all the maps and graphs present there and leaves from there. Meanwhile, with the help of a date written in the graph, we get to know that the timeline in which Paris is in is the timeline of 2003. Meanwhile, on the other hand, we see Ellie, who was still very upset because of Anna's loss, and Callisto was blaming her for everything. That's why Ellie takes her sister Anna's photo from there so that she can find and bring Anna herself. And then we also know that the timeline in which Ellie was in was the timeline of the year 2022. Well, we will get to know about why two timelines are being shown in the future. Anyway, for now, we can see Ellie, who keeps looking for Anna till night, but she is disappointed. But despite that, Ellie continues to try to find Anna. She goes straight from there to the place where they found Anna's boat, and after going to that place, she hides behind a tree because there were a lot of police officers in front of her, who were also looking for Anna, but Ellie did not want to go in front of them. When Ellie goes a little further when the police officers leave from there, she feels that she has crossed a thin layer near the tree, and because of crossing that layer, she came to another timeline. In fact, Ellie's boat was not present at that place, which makes Ellie very shocked after seeing it. Ellie's phone was also left in her boat, which was making Ellie very upset. But somehow she meets till morning, and when some worker's boat comes there in the morning, then Ellie goes back to her house with their boat. But when Ellie comes to her house, she finds out that Anna has just been lost, and it meant that Ellie had come 2 days ago after time travel, and then suddenly Ellie's eyes are out, where this timelines Ellie was about to reach her house with the help of her boat from her friend's house. After seeing all this, Ellie's mind stops working completely, and because she did not want to tell anyone about this, and also she did not want to come in anyone's eyes, that's why she goes out of the house secretly. And as soon as this timelines Ellie goes to her house, the old Ellie immediately takes her boat and leaves from there. And this was the reason why Daniel and his companion Ellie did not get Ellie's boat later. Well, for now, when Ellie was running away from there, then at that time her voice also starts shrieking, which Ellie tries to stop, but still she can't stop her. In the same second timeline, we can also see Paris, who was also going to the same place where she got that band-aid, as her mother used to wear. Now the thing to notice here was that both Ellie and Paris were passing from the same place, but in different timelines, but they had to go to the same location. Well, for now, we see that when Ellie reaches the place where she got Anna's boat, then after going to that place, she starts hearing some sounds from nearby. Listening to those sounds, she comes out of the middle of the trees and once again she time travels. But Ellie does not realize this. At this time, she had got Anna, but all the teeth of this Anna were present, while one of the teeth of Ellie's real Anna had broken a month ago. This meant that at this time, Ellie had come back a month ago, but Ellie immediately hugs Anna, and somewhere her job was also that she had to take Anna to the right place, so she does the job of taking this Anna to her house. But at that time, she had told Daniel that she should never let Anna go out of her house to the lake alone. Now, by the way, this question must be coming to your mind that if Ellie did not get her real Anna, then where is the real Anna? So we get the answer to this through Paris. We see Paris, who himself had also reached the place where he had got the locket before, and after coming there, Paris also starts hearing some strange sounds from behind the trees. Following those sounds, when Paris moves a little further, he himself came to the timeline of the past by traveling through the trees. Then suddenly he sees Anna lying unconscious in front of him, which was actually the Anna of that time, which was lost because of going to Ellie. Now, after seeing the girl lying in the forest like this, Paris immediately picks up Anna first and takes her a little further with his help. During which a lot of people come in front of him, seeing whom Paris immediately gives them to that girl. Now, looking at the front from the same place, Paris was suddenly conscious because that bridge was being built in front of him, which had been built in his timeline. And then he asks one of the people there about the sun in which he had come, and then he finds out that he has come in the time of 1952 by time traveling by deception. After knowing this, Paris was very scared, and because of that, he immediately goes back to the tree and starts looking at a grave of his own. Now, after going, he also understands that when the water level of Ghetto Lake used to go down, then maybe some portals used to open there, from which time travel could be done. Now, after knowing this, he immediately time travels and comes back to his timeline. Anyway, the scene comes back to Ellie from there, who left Anna a month ago and somehow came back to her timeline from there. And somewhere or the other, he also understood that Anna must have also time traveled from that place and gone to another timeline by deception. That's why Ellie immediately ties a rope to a tree nearby so that later when she tries to time travel from another timeline and come back, she knows which tree she will follow and she will come to her real timeline. Then suddenly Ellie gets a call from Daniel, who was also very worried about Ellie. And then we get to know from Daniel that soon the dam under the bridge in their timeline is going to break. And this meant that if the water of the Ghetto Lake Dam comes out, then the water level will go up in the Ghetto Lake. And if the water level goes up, then all the portals will be closed, from which time travel could be done. But even after knowing this, Ellie does not tell Daniel about her location, and while holding the rope, after going to another timeline, she ties the rope to a tree. At the same time, we can also see Paris, which was in a different timeline but was present at the same spot. That's why she could see Ellie's rope. Well, at the present time, Paris sees the rope there and follows it to Ellie's timeline, that is, it comes in 2025. And there we see Ellie, who came in the timeline of 2005 while looking for Anna. Well, in the timeline of 2022, Paris tries to move forward with Ellie's boat, but then suddenly a lot of policemen come to her who were looking for Anna at that place. And because those policemen recognized Ellie's boat, that's why they start asking for her ID proof from Paris. And Paris did not have any ID proof, so he tries to run away from there, but when he goes ahead, his boat is hit by an accident. Now because of this, Paris had to be admitted to the hospital. Anyway, the scene comes back to Ollie in 2005, who had come to a town near Gumtug. And there she sees exactly the same necklace in a car as Anna used to wear. Oh, because there Ollie had come to find Anna and she thought that Anna could be in the car. So she opens the car and starts checking. But in the meantime, C came there, who had a missing poster of Paris in her hand. And there was a 2-year-old boy whose name was Ollie, who, after knowing, starts looking at Ollie C very carefully. Now we go and find out that C's full name is Kalashti, and she is actually Ali's mother and Paris's girlfriend. And here the situation was that Paris had disappeared 2 years ago, after which she was missing. And before she disappeared, when Kalashti went to meet her, they came very close to each other. And during that time Kalashti was pregnant. But as we saw that now Paris had gone in the timeline of 2022 and the dam was about to break there, so it was possible that maybe because of the dam breaking, he could not come back and got stuck there. That's why at the beginning of the story, maybe Kalashti felt in the timeline of 2022 that Paris was not a good father, and he had left her. That's why she didn't want Ollie to know anything about Paris, and neither did she want Ollie to use Paris's surname. Now Ollie had understood everything, but she deliberately does not tell Kalashti anything about her, and just asks her about the necklace in her car. Now Ollie finds out about Paris's mother, and then to find out more about her, she goes to the nearby cyber cafe. Then she finds out about Paris's mother from the internet, who was actually Anna. She was actually born in 1946. No one knew anything about her real parents, but later she became a very good doctor. And now this means that actually the Anna who was left in the 1952 timeline by Paris was going to become his mother in the future. While in the timeline of 2022, we see Paris again, who was kept in the hospital and the police were trying to investigate him there. Actually, the police thought that maybe Paris had kidnapped Anna, but Paris deliberately did not tell them the truth about him. Because he himself knew that if he tells the police about this that he has done time travel, then the police will not believe him at all. And that's why Paris starts trying to run away from there. Then on the way, he sees Anna's photo on TV, after seeing which he also understood that the girl he had left with him in the 1952 timeline was actually his mother. Now after understanding this, Paris immediately starts running at a faster pace, and he came to a room to save his life while running. There he meets a patient, and fortunately that patient turns out to be his father, who was in a very bad condition and at the time he was kept alive by a machine. Now Paris tells all the truth about his mother to his father, but in the meantime, the police arrive there, because of which Paris, escaping from them, jumps out of the window and starts running on the bridge. Anyway, we can see Ollie there, from where all the truth was found, and she also immediately starts coming to that place to return to her timeline, from where she could have done time travel. At the same time, in the year 2022, we can see Paris on the bridge, as if the police had surrounded him from both sides. And when there is no other way to Paris, he immediately jumps into the river from the top of the bridge. But his fate was very bad because at the same time the dam was also broken. Because of the dam breaking, the water level of the river suddenly increased a lot and Paris collides with a stone flowing in it, and dies on the spot. At the same time we see Ollie, who, because of her good luck, reaches the right place before the portal closes and comes back to her timeline. After going there, Ollie meets Daniel and many policemen there, because Anna and Ollie were looking for both at that place. There, Ollie immediately hugs Daniel and tells him that maybe he doesn't need to worry about Anna, because wherever Anna has gone, she will be very happy there. Now Daniel also comes back to his house with Ollie's words, where Kalashti was watching the news on TV, in which it was being told about Paris that how he first kidnapped a girl named Anna and later when the police tried to investigate him, he jumped off the bridge and committed suicide. After seeing Paris's photo on TV, Kalashti was very shocked and she was also very emotional. When Ollie comes and hugs her immediately, and then she shows her Anna's photo, which made it clear to Kalashti that why she couldn't come back to Paris, and how did Annie go in 1951. Now this movie also ends here. I hope you liked the explanation, and if you like the explanation, then subscribe to the channel and select the bell notification bell and like the video. I will keep bringing such more interesting explanation videos. Till then, tada and goodbye.